Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dean Callan Show, or the Bartenders Broadcast Network, or whichever way we're getting to see this right now. Sorry for starting a little bit late. I've got Boris waiting in the wings right now, and to be honest, it's going to be an interesting show because I've been trying to sign into Facebook for quite a while now. They just hate me at Facebook. They hate me. Hopefully. Things are going to sort themselves out when I add Boris to the feed. Boris, how you doing, man?
Yo, very good, brother. Thanks so much for having me.
Right now, I've gone live. It might not be hitting the exact right event page, but it's definitely on now. And I know YouTube's working, and that's what you shared, right? YouTube.
Yep.
All right, cool. So, Boris, I'm gonna be completely honest with you here. I had this brilliant idea of going to my local corner store and buying ingredients from the local corner store that I can use to make my riffs. Because you told me we're going to be twisting the Fino Colada. Is that right?
That's correct, bro.
All right,
that's the one.
So in my panic, I've been trying to get into Facebook for so long. Like these have been sat out on the bench for an hour. You know, all my shopping I got from my local store.
I love it.
I mean, it can't be any more challenging than like coming up with stuff off the top of your head when you haven't even tested the ingredients, right? It's have you ever heard of the show Ready Steady Cook, where they give people a box of mystery ingredients?
Nope, but honestly, this is look like this, yeah. But you know
like
what's surprising? I think this is good also the way how you can introduce the Fino Colada of not made from the ingredients from the really specialized food stores and such. Is regular stuff which regular people can buy in local stores.
In regular stores.
Yep.
Yeah, my local. You can't see the video right now, but my local is very regular store kind of place. You know. Right. So I'm not seeing any comments yet, but it looks like something's working. Diogo has commented saying that both streams seem to be working well. Diogo, if there's a terribly bad audio, let us know, okay? We'll try to fix it in the live feed. So, right, let's see. Boris, tell us what is going on. What's happening? Like, what's the story? Why are we here?
So, Fino Colada, of course, as you know, because you are the creator, being created by yourself a while ago, and because we launched Tio Pepe 1-on-1, which is the digital content or competition, kind of like game, we launched it in March as a substitute for Tio Pepe Challenge, which was over past few years before COVID, was really well-known global competition, and we wanted to reconnect with the bartenders. Of course, the current ongoing situation with pandemic didn't allow us to run regular competition, so we decided to launch this social media kind of contests between selected bartenders from the countries which are good, reasonable countries in terms of volume and visibility of Tio Pepe. And we reconnect the 20.
This sounds the very corporate explanation.
Honestly, because I was looking like, how should I explain it? Basically, we choose 24 countries which are huge on the show, and we invited, because everything was done by invitation only, we invited 24 bartenders, and the whole contest is basically split with different rounds. Of course, it's a single elimination system. So we started in first round with 24 bartenders, and basically we gave them always different challenge from round to round. We had a main challenge, which in the first round for those 24 guys was to create a sherry highball style cocktail, and as a warm-up mini challenge, we did a mini quiz. Then moving on to second round, where 12 bartenders were fighting in 6 battles. The challenge was to create, and actually this challenge finished last week. The challenge was done by mini challenge, which was the ice carving challenge, and it was introduced by Zoran Peric. Of course, Zoran, the geek in terms of ice and Japanese tools and such. So he did a really nice launch video for the round 2, where of course mini challenge was in 4 minutes to do or create the perfect ice ball, and main cocktail demo was based on sherry-infused based cocktail.
Okay.
Moving to semifinals, where you came on board, and I'm really thankful for this, brother. And we were thinking of what would be challenge our main event in round three, which is the semifinals. So we took the opportunity of your beautiful creation, which is absolutely super galactic, delicious Fino Colada, and we gave the challenge to our six finalists. From Singapore, we have a Bistriguco. From Spain, we have a Sergio Bermejo. Polish, Poland, Maciej Mazur. Aldo Reyes from Mexico. We have a Mats Voorhefe from Netherlands and Matthias Soberon from Belgium. Those six finalists from next week, they will have two challenges. One will be creating twist of Fino Colada, which of course you gave the beautiful video to us, which we shared yesterday, and based on the, of your story, your inputs, which of course we will share shortly now. What's the Fino Colada about? What's the Fino Colada about? How the guys can work with ingredients? What can they sub and such? There will be main event to create the twist of Fino Colada, and as a mini challenge, we'll move on to Venencia challenge, which of course Venencia is this beautiful tool to extract sherry directly from barrel and pour it with some distance. That's that one. How is your actually Venencia skills, bro?
Oh, I don't know. You want me to try to pour a rum? You ready?
Good. Go ahead, bro.
Oh.
Because it's good fun. I feel like every single bartender loves it because, of course, the hype and such is already. Oh, okay, go.
Oh, it's terrible.
For sake of you haven't tried it before, bro. It's really good, actually. It's
I haven't done it in a long time. I've tried it before. I have done it before. I used to be quite good at it, but I mean, you got to get the flex. You got to get used to the flex. Like, where's the point?
Yeah, you have to do like one continuous move because one starts to wobble. Because as you can see, guys, Venencia is very flexible in order to be much more beneficial for high pouring.
I can smell it.
But even myself, before I do any masterclass and such, and I don't use it for some time, I need to have some practice laps because it's not so easy, bro.
Oh.
Look at it.
So Venencia challenge is the last challenge after the twist?
It's the last mini challenge. It's going to be actually in the same session. So every single finalist out of six guys, which I already mentioned, they will have to do mini challenge, which will be the pouring of Venencia pour, and main challenge will be twist of Fino Colada. So next round, which will start next week, we'll have sessions on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where those three battles are split between those 3 days. Every single participant will have to demonstrate Venencia and then demonstrate their own twist of Fino Colada.
Ooh, can they use the Venencia when they're making a twist on the Fino Colada?
Yes, we don't have any strict rules. There is only one rule of using minimum 50 mils of sherry in the cocktail. Other than that, bartenders can go crazy, use as many ingredients, use different styles, different methods, different techniques. Like there is no restriction whatsoever. And also it's really important, and it's also really good fun because they are not really jury panelists. For judges, in whole concept of the competition is the public. So basically, after each battle, we'll give 24-hour window gap where the viewers can comment and simply by hashtag Tio Pepe, let's say NO representing Norway or ES representing Spain, they can give a vote to the favorite bartender or cocktail, and this is the whole judging criteria.
Okay.
So basically, the bartenders cannot get the jury on board, but they have to sell their skill or the craft to the public, and public is voting.
They have to win the hearts and minds of the public, right? Like you can't just take it unless they've got so many friends that. But then again, That's the part.
Honestly, it was, of course, I had already the discussion with a few finalists, which of course didn't make it through. Like it's unfair because, of course, some bartenders can have a much more followers. But of course, collaborating with, let's say, with Cocktails for You and such, we always try to push, advertise to get as much as much viewers as possible in order to close the gaps.
I'm just checking on the. I'm not looking away from you to be rude. I'm just checking on the feed
No
to
worries.
make sure everything's working all right. Okay, so when they do the twist, just the purpose of this video, I think, is for us to make sure that everybody's clear on exactly what a twist of a Fino Colada is. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so when they do a twist, are there any rules other than 50 mils or 5 cl of Fino?
So the rule is we give every single bartender time limits, which is not really strict. It's just to control timing of the live shows. We give them 3 minutes for demonstration, just to kind of like put the borders of what guys should be aiming in terms of timing. So there is only 50 mils. It's they need to use Tio Pepe or another expression of our sherries. Sherry-based spirits, like for example our Nomad whiskey, can be used. So they can use sherry and Nomad, or Tio Pepe and Lepanto, which is brandy and Jerez.
Because so let me get it straight. So if I was to make a twist, I could add a little extra fortification by putting Nomad in it.
Correct.
All right. Let's make a twist then. Shall we start?
Bro, let's go ahead.
Okay. So I went to the shop, and this is what I found. So I was in a rush, and I just grabbed anything I thought I'm like the look of. So these strawberries smelled amazing. So I grabbed those. But part of the reason for that is actually because my son needs some strawberries. He eats strawberries all the time. But we have strawberries. They like one of the things I like to do when I go shopping for ingredients is pick the ones that smell or taste. If you can taste it, taste amazing. If the strawberries aren't great, then don't get them. If the pineapples aren't great, then don't get them. In this case, the pineapple smells great, looks terrible, but smells great. So just to be safe, I got 2 pineapples, right? The 2 smelliest, juiciest smelling ones. I got some limes.
But you're absolutely right, because if you don't have opportunity to try fruit, you need to smell it, because there is, of course, a lot of fruits which don't give you smell, and most likely they will not have any flavors at all.
And in the case of a pineapple, one of the things I like to do as well is, if you think about a pineapple's ripeness, if you've got 2 pineapples and they're about the same size, the heavier one likely to be holding more sugar and be juicier and riper. So it's going to have better flavor. Right. Now, I got a Bounty chocolate milk. I don't know why. It had coconuts on it. I thought, yep. I got some aloe vera water. I got a Red Bull. This is actually for me because I need it. I got some organic coconut milk or coconut water, and I got some not organic coconut water because I never tried that one. So I figured I'll get a safety backup. And then I got a coconut, right? So
your local store is quite equipped, because you don't find always coconut, like fresh coconut and such, in local stores.
Yeah, well, the fresh coconut. Well, you said fresh, right? I don't know how fresh this is. I grabbed it as I was running, and like it's come from Thailand. It says keep refrigerated. So, I thought best case, we're opening up a coconut. It could be embarrassing. I was going to open this before I started. Now, obviously on my back bar, I've got a lot of product, but Tio Pepe is usually what I have at the center of my Fino Colada. But since we're allowed to add other sherries, I might add a little bit of like, richness and a bit more depth of flavor from the 30-year-old Apostles Palo Cortado. Now that you said that you can use Nomad, I mean, I'm going to try that.
Oh, yes.
Right? And because I know that the Nomad with the kind of, I guess, maltiness is going to work well with flavors like chocolate and things like that. I'd love to use some chocolate bitters. My Angostura chocolate bitter still hasn't arrived yet, but I do have some chocolate bitters somewhere here. There we go, Aztec chocolate bitters, cool. And what I'm going to do first, if I'm making a riff on something, I make the thing I'm making a riff on first. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Diogo asked. So I think it was invented when Dean was at Canalo, I think about in 2008. That's correct, actually. No.
2010.
2010.
Yeah, it was 2010. So who? Julian DeFerrell. I love it. I love when Julian joins the feed because he's confident enough to comment constantly. Not that I can see them all. You can see the comments, right?
Yeah, I'm just reading it now.
All right, you're in charge of comments because I can't see anything. Right. So pineapple.
Yeah, Julian just mentioned that stinky pineapples are the best.
Exactly. He knows his stuff, this Julian.
Oh, 100%. He knows. He knows a lot. That's why we all love Julian.
And he makes the best drinks. Have you tasted his drinks?
Actually, not yet. I didn't have
And
the
the
opportunity to try
cocktails
his
in the
drinks.
city stuff that he was consulting on, like, brought me back to my childhood. Right. Now I do this by weight, but today, because we're live and I'm in a bit of a hurry, I'm just going to do it roughly.
By weight, you mean like you put equal parts or equal weight of pineapple and ice?
No, yeah. So I put 90 grams, I think it is usually, of pineapple in. So I'd measure it all out. You know, I measure the ice, I measure the pineapple, so that you're getting a. It's better to do it by weight because then you actually have a better idea of how much is in there. Again, remember, heavier pineapples hold a little bit more juice.
Yep.
Oh, this is good. We're winning.
Good.
We're winning today. I'm going to put extra pineapple. I'm going to just wing it. Oh, yes. Right. So this pineapple's extra sweet, right? It's very sweet. It's like got a lot of juicy flavor. So I'm going to put just a squeeze of lime because it's super ripe. Normally you have bromelain enzyme inside these pineapples, which is kind of a flesh-eating. It's not sour, but it's got that sting as if it's sour, but actually it's like chewing away the skin on your face. I like to add my little dash of salt at this point because
Also, Dean, I'm on YouTube now, and Jack Hanlon said like I have some delicious Berbros Fino open, but no blender. Help.
Ooh.
What do I do?
Well, the next thing I'm going to do is try to make one of these without a blender, you know? But have you got pineapple juice would be the question. Because you can be quite successful play with the portions, but get the portions right for yourself. And it doesn't absolutely have to be blended. If you look, the way I do it, I'm trying to make it so that it's a drinkable drink. It's not, I'm going to show you in a glass vessel this time so you can actually see. But my goal is not to make it like a slushy, you know?
Yeah.
I want to make it like a drinkable drink. But by putting it into a blender, it means I can break down the pineapples, the ice, and the coconut cream evenly. It's not trying.
And there's a thing like on your video which you actually recorded a couple of years ago, and explained like even the texture of the drink which you made wasn't too frozen, it was perfect consistency, which you didn't need to even use the straw in this case.
So if you look at this, so I've pre-measured like 20, I think it's 21 grams that came to when I converted it to weight from pouring it from eye, but about 25 if it's a super dry, almost sour pineapple, or a little bit less if you're not liking too much of the sweet flavor from the coconut. But you're not trying to get sweetness out of it. You're just trying to add a little bit of those coconut aromatics to the drink. I'm going to put a couple of dashes of Angostura bitters. I think it aids the drink a little bit, gives it a bit more complexity. And then I'm going to add ice piece by piece on this one. The reason for that is that this blender is going to make tons of noise, and I don't want it getting frozen.
Yep.
And my blender has a program called Ice Crush, and it goes a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and then it gets a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and it slowly builds up to a full-on like blend. And I always think of it as like the ice crush. It's crushing the ice. Like if someone came into the bar and you started speaking to them like, "Oh, hello, how was your day?" Yeah, you know, it's that kind of like little tiny bits of testing to see if someone's a sponge or a rock today. Are they up for?
I remember, like sometimes in the bars when your crash ice machine breaks, you have those, you know, electric ones which you put on a bar counter and try to make as much crash ice as possible. And this is this kind of noise when it's crashing.
I couldn't hear you, so I had to put these on. All right.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to liquefy for a moment.
Have you tried in the past to use different than Tio Pepe, or you just so far you made it just with Tio Pepe?
It's just Tio Pepe. So this is just the normal Fino Colada. So like, if the guys have enough time and enough ingredients, if you're going to make a twist on a drink, for me personally, if I'm going to make a twist on a drink, it doesn't matter whether it's a twist on a Manhattan, a Brooklyn, an old-fashioned, a margarita. I know that my job is to make a twist on a drink, right? To make a riff on it. We want to keep the kind of essence of the drink in our minds. So say for example, you know, I'll give you a good example actually. Once upon a time, many moons ago, like 15, 16 years ago, I was writing a menu for a cocktail bar, and our biggest competition was the bar across the street. Now, we were writing our menu, and what we did was we got all of the bartenders that were key, let's say principal bartenders in the bar, the ones that would make cocktails, that had an idea of how to create drinks from scratch, to put in the drinks that they wanted on the menu. And then we sat down and we looked at like, right, we've got a tall, refreshing drink, we've got kind of a twist on a Manhattan, which we call the Johnny Cash, and so on and so forth. And one of the drinks I wanted to put on the menu was a Southside, right? You know the Southside Fizz, the tall version with gin, lime, sugar, mint, almost like a gin mojito, right? Now, the problem we faced was we were just about to print our menu. We'd structured out the menu really well, and you know, we'd started training in our drinks and everything, but the menu hadn't gone to print yet. And the bar across the street released their menu, and it had a Southside Fizz on it, right? Exactly the same. It was so similar to what we were producing. It was crazy. Maybe we just knew our customers really well, the two bars. So we went back to the drawing board, and I had a cocktail that I'd been making on Hamilton Island prior to that, and it was a Southside Fizz with a dash of absinthe and a little bit of muddled cucumber. But I only did that because I had to create a new menu every single day. And when you have to create a new menu every single day, after about 8 months, it gets really tiresome. So you end up making, like, on Monday, I've got a Southside Fizz. On Tuesday, I've got an absinthe washed Southside Fizz Royale. On Wednesday, I've got a cucumber muddled Southside Fizz. It's a fresh Southside Fizz. You know, so I'm keeping the ingredients, because I was on a tropical island. I'm keeping the ingredients going. Oh, this is going to be great.
I'm so jealous, actually.
Oh, yeah, winning. So, I'll make we made a twist. We made Southside Fizz, and then we tried it with the absinthe. We tried it with cucumber. It worked, and we made that. It went onto our menu. So, but we sat and we drank a Southside Fizz and thought, what do we think would work with this? We tried chocolate, and we tried to make a Southside Fizz stinger and a few other things. But you know, the one that won out was that gut instinct one from prior. Now, if you're drinking this, and then you think, right, I'm going to add a little bit of, where did it go? Apostles to this and see how it fleshes out. You can just take a sip of the apostles. Is that how it's pronounced?
Apostoles.
Apostolos.
Mm-hmm.
Was that right?
Yep.
And then we have a taste of this. You can see which direction it's going to go in. You know, you can see, do they work? So the first twist I'll make will be a stirred down one. Does that make sense?
Perfect.
And I'm going to make it a little bit of a twist by putting some of that chocolate bitters in and maybe a little bit of the apostles. I wanted to see whether or not I thought that would work with chocolate bitters. Now, where my mixing glass is?
I think 3 years ago when we hosted another joint party in Tales of Cocktails with Crystal Head vodka, and it was in House of Blues. We didn't have a blender and we were shaking the
right.
Fino Coladas. Obviously, we had to do half and half juice and fresh pineapple in order to keep still texture, but of course to build a volume.
Yeah.
And they were not good, not bad actually. Of course, pinch of salt, angostura, regular procedure, regular recipe done by you, but shaken were actually not too bad. Of course, there is different consistency of the liquids in final when you use the blender or shaker, but the DNA, the flavors were still there.
So I've just realized I don't actually have my pineapple juice. That was one of the things I couldn't find at the shop. So what I'm going to do in this case, because I don't have pineapple juice, I'm going to take my nice fresh pineapple. I'm going to muddle it. And then I'm going to put the coconut water over that. Where's my muddler? Right, so I got nice, fresh. I've stirred the coconut.
In this case, I can say the size matter.
It's just a bit easier to find that one. I have a little one, but I lose it all the time. So I keep that one as a backup. Right, so I've dissolved this in. I'm going to shake it now, now that I've realized I don't have my pineapple. And instead of using purely the coconut, I'm going to add coconut water to get a little extra essence. Put a tiny bit of this, just to taste. And then a couple of dashes of chocolate bitters instead of Angostura bitters. Right. I might have gone too heavy on the coconut, but coconut and chocolate, like, it's like.
Would you recommend still pinch of salt in terms of like lift the sherry flavors, or?
What's that?
Pinch of salt. Would you add to it?
Well, I think the pinch of salt, you've got to remember that the salt, it's not only bringing out brightening some of the flavors that exist in the sherry, but salt and pineapple are like really good bedfellows. So if you want to get some of the flavor and aromatics out of pineapple, it's good to add salt. You know? In fact, it goes way back, like when the Europeans first discovered the South American people eating pineapples. The Tupi-Guarani tribe, as they're called, they were actually storing fresh pineapple in seawater. So they were putting it into salt water to store it, almost like curing it, which is interesting, you know? They always put salt with it.
It was the era when pineapple was more expensive than gold, because of course the pineapple story goes way back when pineapples were given to kings and such to appreciate and kind of like
And it was they were renamed by, I think it was the then Queen of Spain. So the piña name comes from Spain, right? All right. What am I going to put it in? So here we're doing a little twist. It's obviously a lot more scary than I thought it would be to be doing random twists and winging it when live. It's just kind of. I was so
While you were shaking.
I was so crazy running around trying to find everything for the live feed that I just forgot what I was actually about to do. You know, I didn't get myself in a good headspace for it. But this looks good. Have you seen other variations on this type of thing? On the not just the Fino Colada, but the purpose of this obviously was to use up. You know the story. We were making a lot of pina coladas. It was a tiki bar, even though a lot of people would say that a pina colada is not a tiki drink. You go to a tiki bar, you expect to be at least able to order them. So we were making a lot of them at Kanaloa. But we also had another cocktail on the menu that wasn't selling very well, that had a little bit of Tio Pepe in it. And, you know, every station had a bottle of Tio Pepe in the fridge. And it wasn't getting used up fast enough. So I was starting to get stressed out because I love Tio Pepe. And I'm watching this Fino Sherry, you know, just sit there and oxidize a little bit. And I know you can still use it when it's oxidized, but, you know, it tastes, I like the flavor of a brand new fresh bottle. I like to finish it while it's laughing at me. And I just, instead of drinking pina coladas at the end of my shift and sometimes during my shift, I just switched out the Fino and started using up the Fino because we had all the other ingredients there. So that's why it was a direct twist on the pina colada. But it tasted so good. I started like putting more and more Fino in it, and it like I was basically drinking glasses of Fino with a little twist. I wouldn't say that everyone does that because you run out of Fino really fast.
Which is good for me, guys. Use it as much as you can.
Oh, yeah. See, that's really nice. I think it misses. There's something about the blended one that has a little more zing to it, if that makes sense. Like it's got a little. I guess that was the lime. I didn't put lime in this one, but I think the lime would have clashed with the chocolate. So for me, if you're making a twist, I guess it must have been gut instinct, but pulling out some of the things. If you're adding something in, look at how it's going to balance with other ingredients within the drink that exist.
But also because when you blend it, basically the pieces or chunks of pineapple are inside of the drinks, while when you're shaking it, you know, you're keeping the solid part still in the shaker and extracting just juice. So it might be sense of difference from this point.
So I'm getting people are going crazy on the comments.
Joe Watzak. Joe Watzak is on YouTube. Hey, Fino Colada. Good one, boys. Joe.
Oh, that's why. Oh, yeah, Julian. I was making them and drinking them at Kanaloa. Oh, it wasn't listed. They weren't on the list. It was like I was using up sherry in the drink and like drinking them. So I've been making them since. So yeah. Oh, we made a lot of them at home as well. But at the end of my time at Kanaloa, I did a guest shift upstairs in Jub Jub in 2010, and this was on the list at the guest shift in Jub Jub. If that makes sense.
But also like you mentioned that pina colada, generally speaking, okay, even excluding the cream, which I hate to use the cream in pina coladas, as many bars used to use it back in the days. But like pina colada has a lot of sugar because rum, sugary, is of course alcohol. Piñas or pineapples are sweet on its own. So cutting the sugars, you know, by replacing rum with Fino Sherry was like it's genius, like genius idea. And when I tried first time Fino Colada, I was like, wow, because I never been, honestly speaking, bro, I never been big fan of Pina Colada before. I had time to time, but it wasn't my drink.
Well, I think they need to be made right, and when I say made right, it's important to get the balance of the ingredients right. Like people put, like you said, people put actual cream in pina coladas. Like they shouldn't have cream in them, and they shouldn't. I personally don't think they're supposed to be a super sweet drink. I think if you get it just right, it's just enough sweetness that it's moreish. Your mouth starts to water, but not enough sweetness that like it gets cloying towards the end of the drink. You know.
But that's the thing, because like many bartenders, and again, many bartenders do really great creation of pina coladas and such. But it's really important to look at the raw material before you start making pina or fino colada. So make sure, like you mentioned last time, make sure pineapple is juicy and and right, instead of adding extra sugars to add extra flavors.
All right. So you know what? So is it the rules state that you need to put a percentage of 50 mils of your sherry products? So
minimum.
I guess Gonzalez BS products. So you can use Nomad. You can use any of the sherries that are available. But do you have to use coconut and do you have to use pineapple? Can you twist it up a little bit more and make like a twist on another drink?
You can
I just had an idea,
that
but
with.
I want to clarify that
Honestly,
I'll be allowed
like
to
you
do
can
it.
twist it. Yes, it's allowed. You can twist it in, like, it's absolutely up to you how you twist it. Obviously, the story, the idea of Fino Colada needs to have a DNA. But twists, again,
Okay.
if you know how to back up your story and your recreation, feel free.
Okay. All right. So do you know the missionary's downfall?
No?
All right. Wait there. I'm going to explain the missionary's downfall. I'm going to make a twist on a missionary's downfall, but it requires mint. And because I had no idea I was going to do that, I'm going out to my garden to get some mint. I'll be back.
Brilliant.
Yes.
I absolutely
Oh, my
love it.
precious.
So, guys, whoever is watching, thank you very much for staying with us. Now I'm going to be witness of something super cool, unexpected twist of Fino Colada by creator Dean Callan with a fresh mint.
Oh, this is good mint. Okay, so this is like, you can see how fresh that is. Right, so I'm going to couple a piece of mint. So this is another of my favorite drinks. I probably could have made this twist had I thought of it back in the day, but
one of the comments of the Joe Vatzak,
it must be
needs
10
more
years
acidity.
since I've actually. Joe, what did Joe say?
Joe commented on YouTube that needs more acidity than most of the people think, which is actually true.
Okay, so you're working in a bar. It doesn't carry coconut. It doesn't carry coconut cream. Your local store doesn't have coconut. That's okay. I'm gonna do another twist. If it's all right. If you tell me if I'm disqualified or not. Okay.
All right.
So 60 mils of Fino. I'm gonna put. Wait, I need to try that again. Just so I know, I need to know.
I'm sipping it now.
Okay, so this, I can't remember what it was, but recently I had a drink that had whiskey and peach in it. It was with Monica last week. Her drink, she had a whiskey and peach sour, it was something, but it was delicious, right? It was absolutely amazing. So I'm now going to put 15 mils of Nomad. Now, this is my first attempt, so I'd probably put more of this in if I was playing with it a little bit more. And then I'm going to put 15 mils of creme de pêche. This is like a creme de pêche from a small vineyard somewhere in France. It's a fancy one, but it's a creme de pêche de vin. Yeah, so I don't know what that means. whether that's
Was the
a thing.
ABV?
But Julian DeFerrell will surely know. He knows stuff. If he's still watching, he can explain the difference between a Divine or
He's
Divine.
still watching, and he also
Is he?
commented like, which, if not mistaken, the Tio Pepe was infused with the grapefruit, you know, which means the original Fino Colada had a grapefruit infusion.
Yep. That would make some sense, but I was opening new bottles of Fino Colada at home, of Tio Pepe at home. So, yeah, now that you say it, it would have had a grapefruit twist in it. But the one that I made at Jub Jub definitely didn't. Right. Now, a couple of dashes of Angostura. I might take one piece of ice out of that. It looks like it's too icy. I get carried away. Carlos has been supplying me with ice, and I've got loads of it now, so I'm all iced up, ready for a party tomorrow. Now let's see how this works. I'm doing my breaking the ice. I'm turning it up to chop mode. Blend.
By the way, guys, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the session, 3 out of the comments of people interacting the most, I'm sorry that I mentioned it so late, will get the Sherry is Sexy cup. So far, Julian, Joe, and need to pick one more, is getting one of those baseball Sherry is Sexy cups. Anyway, like my last session, I was in London Cocktail Club with Joe Watzak, Julian, and the rest of the boys. It was you were there as well. It was last year Tales of Cocktails announcement, right?
What's that?
In LCC when we met last time, like all of us, all the gang together. It was in LCC, the live streaming of Tales of Cocktails, right?
Yeah. The Tales of the Cocktail Awards, the live stream, it was I think it was pre-recorded. Like it was. I feel for Charlotte. If Charlotte was standing there and delivering a live feed, but there was no feedback, I feel for her because it looked pre-recorded. Right. So, I've served it 2 ways. One, goblety, just in case you're into goblety type drinks, and then 2, kind of uppy, in case you're into uppy drinks. And then I've got 2 different little garnishes because I knew that there'd be too much in there for 1 glass, but I wanted to see what happens when you serve it, like in this guy, so that your nose will be right over that when you go to drink it. Let's see. Oh. Maybe that's too big. Let me see. Got to get it right so that every part of the drink has a purpose. And for me, the garnish, in this case, the mint, lends you to like a fresh flavor that makes your mouth water. So I want to kind of focus on that. Let's see. Let's see if it's any good. All right. It's good. Mint tastes a bit gardeny. And it could definitely use more peach. But it's tasty. It's super tasty. So would a twist like that be accepted?
Yep, definitely.
Okay, cool.
Again, you know, like this competition, it's of course you have to create a recipe, but then you have your three or so minutes by live streaming to explain what's the story behind. So you don't need to really show the skills in terms of mixing and putting all ingredients together. You can prepare it in advance. But the most, like what I'm always suggesting to guys, that's those 3 minutes. It's to sell it, to get hearts of viewers, of followers and such, in order to, of course, to bring the story live so everybody understands where you came from, but also to sell it to them. So 100%. Personally, which glass would you prefer?
Well, that one's bigger.
Go at it.
This actually had like about 60. It looks like it had like 60 mils of actual drink in it, because
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it, but whatever. This is come up like super fluffy. You know, like can you see like how much how fluffy it actually is? Yeah. So it's like it's nice. It's light. It's like drinking a Ramos Gin Fizz.
Jake Hanlon, definitely I'll send you one baseball cap as well. 100%. Because I'm flipping from YouTube to Facebook to catch as many comments as possible.
All right. So
Jonas,
yeah, pêche de vigne in France. It means flat white peach. Oh, flat white peach. I see. I did not know that. Thank you very much.
Jonas,
Oh.
I wonder what sherry cocktails are your favorites? Out of classics, I would say Adon is my all-timer.
Yeah.
Bamboo, if I want to play, slightly drier. Sherry cobbler, one of the first cocktails, historically speaking. It's all day long beverage. Fino Colada, yes, but then there are many other drinks using the sherry, not in such a predominant way. And I like to twist the classics like Manhattan and let's say replacing the vermouths with a Fino or with Pedro Jimenez and such. Vieux Carré, great example where I would definitely go for let's say cream instead of sweet vermouth and such. So the variation of the classics are there. I'm so jealous, but this is why I need to see Noma. I was like, he is mixing, and I'm sitting here, but I cannot complain because I have here full range of our sherry. So I'm gonna slowly catch up with you.
You know, if people want to stick to the ethos of like, so that you basically took Fino sherry and replaced rum with Fino sherry, right? So if someone took another classic that everybody knows, it's something that you know, and literally took the base out and replaced it with sherry, would that still count as sticking to the ethos? Or does it need to be? Does it need to have some of the ingredients from the original drink?
Whew. Good questions. Well, ideally, I would keep some. Like there is no, in terms and conditions, there is no such a thing like twist it. Done. Minimum 50 mils of sherry and do it your way. Obviously, for the public is judging panel for all those cocktails. As long as you can back up through the live show of why did you replace every single ingredient, feel free.
Yeah.
But like personally, I would keep DNA of Fino Colada out of the sherry. So basically, either pinch of salt, Angostura, or pineapple, maybe clarified. You don't need to go too far. Again, for me, and I was actually having a good talk with Stuart Hudson another day, and we were talking about using the rotalabs and stuff. Honestly, those clear cocktails with a lot of an exposure of the flavors, which you wouldn't get in normal mixing or using the normal techniques, it's a great thing to show the people. But those classics where you see the presence of brandy, you know, when you see the colors, when you see all the components, I think sometimes we are missing those cocktails, and many classics or many twists are taken too far because we have so many tools to change.
So you're looking for people that are keeping the DNA of the cocktail, and they're not just adding layers of complexity to the production of the drink. They're adding layers of complexity to the flavor of the drink. So, for example, if someone's taking the coconut cream and like putting it through a rotovap and doing a whole bunch of other stuff, and it comes out, and they could have just used a coconut rum to get the same effect, then you're not looking for that. You're looking for the end product. Is that right? Is that what you mean?
At the end of the day, yes,
A little bit?
partially yes, bro. Because honestly, the thing is, of course, I would like to see different styles, like really going wild with terms of like creativity and such. But in the same time, we still in kind of like in pandemic sort of way. So if the people and general public are judging the cocktails, give them some recipe crazy enough to get inspired, but easy enough to recreate in
Yeah.
certain way. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Rotava people don't hold the Rotava mainly home. So if you can find a way how to extract the flavors in the same way like you did, and there is, you know, the other ways like punch, you know, the milk punch and such. So you
Mm.
can definitely extract the flavors and rid of the color. But again, for me, I think this is the public involved kind of like competition. So give
Yeah.
opportunity sometimes people to go by, maybe cook or make them busy when they're home. Because also many bartenders streaming from home because they still their bars are closed, but let people to recreate the drinks and feel kind of like, oh wow, that's really good. Because people cannot try the drink, they can see the video, they can watch the bartender, they can judge. But I think this is the way of introducing drinks which you can try home or make and recreate home. Maybe with a bit of more hustle, more work, but you know.
Well, let's see if I can open this coconut without cutting my face off. Whoa.
Jack
Yeah,
Hanlon
success.
Jack Hanlon, another comment on YouTube. Need to find a bar in London that does jugs of rebujito in the summer. Difficult, difficult because rebujito, as you know, there is a mint, Tio Pepe, and Sprite or lemonade. It's actually really tasty, and during the like summer, really warm days, is really refreshing. But I would still make it as like rebujito in London version. I could see as a twist of mojito. So not Sprite, no lemonade. Use the soda water, and add fresh lime and sugar.
All right.
So what are we making now?
I'm just making one last little twist. So I'm putting the reverse of the like Manhattan spec. So instead of vermouth, I'm using the Tio Pepe, and then instead of and then I'm putting the Nomad in as the whiskey, and I'm just going to build it out with a little bit of coconut, and then a little bit of pineapple flavor until I can like get it to about the size of an old fashioned. Couple of dashes of bitters.
Honestly, I love reverse Manhattans with the sherry. I love them. I love them. And if you combine those two drinks, like Pina Colada and Manhattan twisted all together in one drink, wow. I'm going to take the taxi and I'm going to talk to you.
I'm going to have to see how it works out though. It might be terrible, but it's worth a try. Because this coconut, this coconut has a lot of like woody, chocolatey kind of notes coming through. So I think it's gonna taste really nice. All right. Now, because it's okay, it needs a bit of sugar, and obviously my ice hasn't had time to temper, but we'll see how it comes up. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of sugar into this, as if it was an old-fashioned.
Are you making your own ice, Dean, or you buying?
I'm buying the ice from Ice Studio London. It actually it works out like more economical to buy the ice than it does for me to spend the time. And also, if I fill the freezer with ice cubes, I have enough for like a couple of weeks, right? but it would take more than a couple of weeks to fill the freezer with ice cubes if I'm putting them in the other freezer that I have and freezing them in a container. So actually, I can't possibly keep up, even in a home bar. It's not a viable option. So I'm buying.
No, but 100%. Like many people trying to cut the corners or don't have a space and try to make their clear ice homes, which is fair enough. But yes, it's much more economic to buy them because there is a wastage, there is a time, there is a space and such.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the time and space that's the real difficult. Now, my instinct was to put a twist of orange, but I don't think I'm going to do that. It smells. I can get the aromatics and I can get the coconut really heavy.
Oh. Can you repeat me the ratio which you used?
So I put 60 mils of Fino. 50 mils of Fino, 25 mils of Nomad. About 5 to 10 mils of sugar syrup, so I didn't really measure that. 4 dashes of Angostura bitters. And then I put 50 mils of coconut, and I pressed in some pineapple. So the pineapple, you're getting it a little bit, but if I were to pull it apart properly and put it back together, I would make a fresh pineapple syrup, and replace the sugar syrup with a pineapple syrup. And I'd cook the pineapple because once you get over a certain temperature, the bromeliad enzyme, that enzyme that makes it kind of taste a bit sour and a bit sharp, cooks away. Or for example, if you get tinned pineapple, it's only like the sugary sweet pineapple flavor. You don't get that sharpness because they've killed off everything when they heated it up. So I'd make a pineapple syrup so that it was candied and aromatic, and then I'd put extra dashes of bitters because that replaces some of the bitter botanicals and complexities that you get in a vermouth that aren't apparent because they haven't been added to Tio Pepe. And then I added the Nomad obviously because it gives the extra bit of backbone and strength that you would expect from an old-fashioned style drink. And I didn't stir it down over ice. I used the coconut water as my dilution for my old-fashioned, poured straight over frozen ice cube.
How the coconut water plays the role there?
How the
coconut water plays the role there? Is present or is just on a back palate?
It's present. It's really present. It's got coconut when you've had a coconut it's not squeezed straight away when it's young. That looks like a young coconut, but it tastes like it's got some old coconut in it. So one of the things I used to do, well, I've done it a couple of times, but it wasn't an economical practice, is to take an old coconut, the ones with the brown husks on the outside?
Yeah.
Break open one of those, scrape out the inside, keep the coconut milk because the flavor is totally different. Then get a big green coconut, like what that looked like. This looks like a green coconut, but actually on the inside, it smells really like you've got that real woody coconut husk sort of flavor coming from it. And I'd take a green coconut, empty the liquid out, empty the water out, take an old coconut, empty the water out, take the gelatinous flesh out of the green coconut, and then take all the much older, harder flesh out of the brown coconut, and I'd blitz the two fleshes together, put them into a super bag, and then pass the coconut water through them again and again and again, and add sugar to taste to make coconut cream from scratch. And you get the best of both worlds. You get that fresh coconut flavor, you get that older coconut flavor, and then you sweeten it up so that you can put it into drinks and it lasts a little bit longer. But it takes hours to make. I once did it in Africa on the beach, and the monkeys came and raided our coconut cream stash. I'm not joking.
But
the monkeys came and took the coconut cream, but right from us. They were only a meter away from me at one point. And I was like, hey, little tiny monkey, that's my cream. And the monkey was like, and I was like, oh, you can have the cream.
Look,
yeah.
You wish.
It was pretty crazy.
But it's funny, like you mentioned, the old coconuts versus the green ones. Like I remember I'm talking about like 12, 13 years ago, we had only those the brand hairy hard shell kind of like
Yep.
coconuts, and we had to boil them before to crack them because of course it was so difficult to open them. No, like I don't know
If
how do
you
you crack
if
it with
you
a hammer
you
or
can
with,
crack you could
I don't know.
the key is persistence. I actually have one in the I think it might be in the fridge inside. I got one a couple of days ago delivered. To open the hard ones, it's not about having a sharper knife or anything like that. It's about taking if that's see the way this one, I took the bottom
Yeah,
corner of the blade and smacked it in to one piece at a time until it cracked the shell, and then on this side,
yeah,
imagine you're doing that with a hard coconut, right?
yeah.
And you pick your point around the top somewhere, and instead of hitting it with the sharp part because it's harder, you hit it with the back and you whack it again and again and again, and you slowly weaken the coconut's outside shell by hitting it, like not too hard but not too soft, and eventually you'll get used to it, and you go around and you'll start to feel in the coconut when you put pressure with your thumb that the
Yeah.
vibration's not quite the same. It starts to become echoey in its feeling of the vibration, and when you get that, hit it harder and it'll crack on the spot where you're hitting it. And you can do a
Bro,
second whack on the outside, and then you very gently, because otherwise you can cut your hand on the husk, peel it open, and you'll open it.
if I would
But
have
it's this,
a Back to the Future car now, I would take us back 30 years ago when I was
sorry,
boiling the coconuts to open them.
yeah, sorry, I've just been ranting. I forgot all about what we were supposed to be doing. But that is basically stripping apart the Fino Colada and then putting it back together with like a little bit of Nomad added in to give it a bit more meat or like strength. But yeah, that's a deconstruction of Fino Colada put back together, and it didn't require a rotovap. You know, it's not
Yeah.
clear, but that's largely because of the Angostura bitters. So you could swap out the bitters and do something of your own. But that's actually quite nice. And also I've made a point of using the coconut water as my dilution that I ordinarily would have used ice as stirred down.
Hmm.
It's actually getting better, or either
It's
that,
like,
or I'm getting more jolly. Oh,
well, it's like this is a great example, bro. Like I'm so glad you made this drink because this is one of those twists which you wouldn't really think from top of your head as a first idea of twisting the pina colada, but this is the kind of like twist which I would love to see and taste in some point.
come here. So you're in London still, right? Or whenever you're back in London, come here, because I'm tasting this, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not perfect. It's nice. But I think the thing that excites me more is the possibilities of it. If I were to play with that for a little bit longer, I'd add different elements to it and twist it up a little bit further, and get it like
Let's
right. I
let's
think the
let's
proportions are a
organize
little bit off.
one cabin tasting. I will be more than happy to come.
Man, you're always
Bring some
welcome. You
stuff
know
with
that,
me.
right?
Yeah, because I'm in London for some time now, and will be my pleasure to come down and experience some stuff.
Okay, so Jonas said, "I see classics are classics for a reason," and I was like, "Oh, is he up? Is he hating on my riffs on classics? Like, I thought that's what we were supposed to be doing." Cool, but yeah, I'm having a lot of fun actually. I wish I was more set up at the beginning, but I got logged out of everything on my devices, and it actually took me quite a while to log back in, remembering my passwords and all that sort of stuff. Everything's automated these days, you know. So Boris, what should people expect? There's 6 finalists, but
Six finalists
what
next
should
week
people that are watching
within.
expect? You know, so if I want to follow along and vote, because in the past I tried not to vote because obviously you let me know in advance you were going to have a chat to me about Fino Colada, and I didn't know
Yep.
if I had to be completely non-biased, because I've been a judge of a competition a few times before, and I wasn't sure if I was judging anything or what I was doing, because you're very good at keeping secrets. But I stayed out of it to this point as much as I could, and didn't vote for anyone in particular because I didn't want to be biased. And you know, you can imagine yourself, if you were a contestant who didn't get through to this stage, and you had seen me voting for someone, and then you see me chatting to you about this right now, you'd be
It's
like,
something,
it's
yeah,
all rigged. And having been in those competitions myself, I'm that guy that goes, collusion, you know? His guy won. He voted for that guy. So I stayed out of it. But as someone who's now going to be like watching it through to the end, what should I expect to see, and at what days? Do you know?
Again, like for me, the competition is great fun because it's not just like reconnecting and putting bartenders from different parts of the world. Some of them they know each other, so they know.
Mm.
It will be really fun to watch them how they do Venezia home. First of all,
Oh
second of
yeah.
all, spending some time with you, plus of course knowing Fino Colada from sometimes because we had already a couple of events in New Orleans. Those six guys from Singapore, Spain, Poland, Mexico, Netherlands,
Oh
and Belgium. Honestly, I think it's gonna be good fun because, of course, the temper and the temptation of the competition is gonna be much higher than the previous rounds because we dedicate for prizes for prizes in general. We dedicated 5 grand, and from round to round, people are winning some good cash prizes and such. It's good to see the guys from their either home bars or or homes reconnecting. But thing is, like I haven't seen too much challenge kind of. Ah, yeah, I wanna win over the last couple. Ah, yeah, well, minivan events here. I didn't
are
see
you
too
allowed to
much.
use this in the
Co-
challenge? Is this okay?
uh,
Is this allowed?
Unfortunately, no. Yeah, ice bucket and minivan events here.
You.
This one is actually good fun, no?
Oh, it's the best. You know, I can't find my mini. I had three of them. I was just looking for my mini one, but I can't
I'll get you
find
one
it
because
anywhere.
honestly, I use it for sherry cobblers as the sugar kind of like measure, and I like dig it inside of the cocktail itself. So
Yeah.
I use it as a stirrer with the sugar inside. So as much as you stir and play around, you extract the sugar out of the mini Valencia.
That is the best. But the mini one. So this is 15 mil, right?
Yep.
And then this one's 50, and which is, I mean, you're amazing at choosing the sizes for a Venencia. That's exactly one double UK measure. And then you got half an
I think it
ounce.
was accident. I think it was accident
Yeah.
because they didn't really measure it. Like, okay, let's do 50. So in late 20s or like 2000s, people can or bartenders can use it as a jigger.
Yeah.
I don't think in
But the little one's 5 mil.
yes,
Did you know that?
yeah. But that's the
Uh,
only content here. I know it because I was already playing with different garnishing and such of the cocktails, and I used all three sizes. I was like, actually, it works really well. But then it goes back to 495 BC, you know. So I don't think I don't think the Achilles, who was using the first like one of the first Venezians in the world, was like, okay, let's.
Maybe it's forward thinking though. 495 BC. We make it 50 mils because then, like, you know, you can use it as a double measure in what, 2,500 years.
Honestly, I
Awesome.
think that
So
all idea of the doubles and singles for sure. There was all inspiration behind double measurement and single measurement. The Venetia and proof of Venetia of Achilles around the 95 BC. So
man,
yeah, guys. Yep.
it's just you could call it luck, but I think maybe there's a little bit more to play there. I think it's just good craftsmanship.
I definitely
Right.
can find out some story which I will be sharing with bartenders, but definitely in terms of your question, and next week's semifinals will be carried on through Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday session will be 3 p.m., 5 p.m. on Wednesday as well, or as on Friday. We have 6 guys making mini challenge, which is the Venezia challenge, and the main event of the day, which will be recreation or twist of Dean Callan Fino Colada. So I'm really looking forward to it because, of course, this is the live session which we did in pre of the semifinals, which is good fun. It was good to catch up with you, for sure. It's good that some people watch us now. Many bartenders, many people will come back to the video, which hopefully it was helpful, not just us having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
I'm having too much fun. Like I've got another live stream in like half an hour, and I have to like reset everything. And since I was signed out of everything, so it might be actually quite difficult. But I'm
Bro, I
having a
had
great time.
my.
I made a mess. I didn't get to use my Bounty chocolate
I
milk.
would love to see like how this works. So
I just
but
don't
like
even know
this
what.
maybe for the time I'll come down. I'll buy with the bounty bounty thing, and we can make some twist.
Well,
All the guys can try it home.
I thought about, when I first started bartending, it was a long time ago, and blended cocktails were super popular, and there was a cocktail called a Toblerone. Have you ever heard of a Toblerone?
No.
So a Toblerone, you took a shot of Bailey's, a shot of, I think it was Frangelico, and a shot of, was it Kahlua? But you put those three, you put a base of creamy, chocolatey alcohol in, and then you added like a squirt of honey and a squirt of chocolate syrup, like like the chocolate syrup that people might have at like a coffee shop or something like that, like really kind of fake tasting chocolate syrup. Like it had to be fake tasting chocolate syrup. Couldn't use real chocolate. And then a double measure of cream. And you added a whole bunch of ice and you blended it, right? And while that's blending, you took a hurricane glass. Well, like I can't even describe it because I actually don't stock a glass that looks anything like those glasses. But imagine a glass like this, and you take the honey and you swirl the honey, and you're turning the glass and swirling the honey on the inside, so it goes up and down. And then you take the chocolate sauce and you do that with the chocolate sauce, and then you take this blended creamy thing and you pour it in and it goes up, and then you took chocolate and you shaved chocolate over the top of it, and then you put honey over the top of that, you put a couple of straws in, and you gave it to people. And I mean, people were drinking them, right? So those people probably have diabetes now, but they were drinking them. And
as well as like, don't be surprised when the bees will not let you go for another 5 days. Like literally, you have massive problem.
So one of the things I thought about doing was like adding adding like chocolate Angostura chocolate bitters, and then taking a Bounty and shaving the Bounty into a blending Fino Colada until it was like kind of like Toblerone-ish. But fortunately for all of us, I stopped on that. I did see the Bounty chocolate milk and thought, woo! But no, we've left.
So if you've seen people on the streets, most likely there's a couple.
Right, I'm gonna have to go so I can set up for the next live stream. But Boris, anytime you want to come to the cabin, come hang out. I have sherry. You'd love it. You'd love it. We can drink sherry. We can have multiple different Venezia challenges. It'll get epic.
I have some line here, so more than happy to bring it over.
Amazing.
I have still baseball cap for you and many other mini Venezias and such, bro. It was absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for helping me with the Tio Pepe 101. It's been absolute pleasure. Definitely, I'll come down. We'll speak offline. Enjoy your next live. And
all right, thank you so much. Now I'm going to press my outro button, which ends the show usually. But I mean, given today's tech, I don't know if it's actually going to work. So if it doesn't work, stay with me for 30 more seconds and I'll make it work. Ready? Ready? We ready? Ready? Let's see if moment of truth.
Ready.